So lately I've been playing a lot of Fallout and a lot of Outer Worlds. And if you ever played either of these games or games similar, you're very familiar with the concept of a speech check or a dialogue tree where you have multiple options that you can choose from. And sometimes you're choosing things and it doesn't go well.
Evading my questions is a surefire way of getting yourself ejected from the compound.
Today on Geek Devotions, we're talking about the importance of being careful about what we say in real life speech check. Hello, Devoted Geeks, and welcome to Geek Devotional, the show from Devoted Geeks who are devoted to letting you know that you're loved. I'm Dallas. I'm so glad you've hit the play button today. If you're new to our show, we take geek pop culture items like movies, video games, comics, and we use it to let people know that they're loved. So if you don't watch past this moment, know this: we love you, we care about you. There is a plan and a purpose for your life. Do not give up. Today, ladies and gentlemen, take a look at an interesting video game mechanic called the speech check, or maybe the dialogue tree, however it plays out. And it's an RPG tool that we've seen for decades. And sometimes it works really well because you've built up your character, you understand how things work. But sometimes we say the wrong thing on accident, and then you have characters doing this.
Error. This unit is unable to process the service request.
Depending on what you've done in the game, you are able to pass these tests really well, sometimes not so well, obviously. But it takes time and practice to try to get a feel for what's taking place. You have to learn to read the room. And honestly, this is something that applies in our real life situations. Oftentimes, as we're going through life, you will have to do a speech check, ladies and gentlemen. I know, it's weird, it's scary, but you will find yourself in a room and you have to go, what's the right thing to say? Maybe what's not the right thing to say? There's a lot of people out there and they're very quick-minded and they talk a lot, and sometimes they're just throwing things out there to fill up the space, to fill the void because they feel awkward and they just feel like they need to say something. But sometimes those things that they say don't help the situation. Sometimes it reflects very poorly on the person who's making the statement. There's an old proverb that says, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits. That proverb very clearly just points out the fact that when we talk, it could be good or it could be bad. And if you just love talking, you're going to have to suffer the consequence of that. You're going to have to eat the fruit. Sometimes it's good stuff, sometimes it's not. We need to be careful about what we say and how we say it. This is why so many times throughout the scriptures, people are encouraged to really be mindful about what they say. Be slow to speak and quick to listen, if you will. Or, as in the case of Proverbs chapter 21, verse 23, it says, whoever keeps his mouth and his tongue keeps himself out of trouble. So how do we do this? How do we keep ourselves out of trouble? How do we do this? Well, like I said, I referred back to another verse where it talked about being slow to speak and quick to listen. That means we really need to be cognitive about what we're doing. We need to be intentional about slowing down, listening to people rather than while they're talking, be thinking of a reply automatically. Take time to be present, to be silent. I know that's difficult as a person who talks a lot. I know, believe me, it's hard sometimes. But there's just one interesting aspect that I find helps me a lot when I'm talking with people and I'm amidst a crowd and I need to, because again, there's sometimes you have to speak, but there's this one guiding principle that helps me a lot, and that's found in the book of Philippians, chapter 2, verse 4. Let each of you look not only to his own interest, but also to the interest of others. In this passage, what the writer is telling us is to think about the people around us. Think very hard and carefully, how do your words truly affect the people around you? Now, there are some people out there, they're like, well, if I'm speaking the truth, it doesn't matter. The truth is truth. It's going to affect them the right way. But how are you speaking the truth? What are you saying and how are you saying it? These things do come into play and we have to be cognitive of it. Now, there are some people, again, you get this hard thing, well, Dallas, feelings are just feelings. Facts are facts. Well, you're right. One of the things I teach people is simply this. Yes, it's true. Feelings are just feelings. They have no weight on the facts of the situation at hand. However, feelings are still very real to the person. They still feel the feelings. It still has an effect on them. And depending on the situation, the way that you present the truth, if you do it without love, without grace, then the feelings that come up, it actually just turns them off from the truth. It blocks them from hearing what has to be said. So we have to be careful about how we talk to people and what we say to people. And again, like I said, sometimes it gets awkward in video games and we say the wrong thing and things happen. So what do we do with that? How do we handle if we have offended somebody? Many people are familiar with Matthew chapter 18, where it talks about what to do if somebody has offended you personally. Like if they've said something or they've done something that hurts your feelings, how to handle that. And it takes you gathering the courage and going and confronting that person, talking to them, going, hey, look, this really affected me in a real way. However, what some people tend to forget is Matthew 25. And in 25, verse 23 through 25, it says that something very interesting. It's the flip side of that coin. And it says that if you've offended somebody, and you know it, you in your heart of hearts, in your mind go, I know that things I've said and done have offended somebody else, that it is up to us, or up to you rather, to go to that person and go, hey, look, I want to talk to you about this. I want to clear this out and get things on the table and make things right. Now, that doesn't mean that we apologize for truth. Truth is truth, yes. But if we do it inappropriately, if we do it in the wrong spirit, then you need to apologize about that, because there's a different way of doing things that's appropriate. And honestly, I've said this before here on the show. Yes, the Lord honors people who are being persecuted for his name's sake, but if you're being a jerk, there's no grace for that. We need to own what we say and be cognitive about it and be very, very careful about how we address people, how we talk to people. And like I said, if we have offended somebody, we have to take care of that quickly. In fact, in the context of that passage, it says that if you're there going to like give up an offering, in modern context, it'd be like if you're at church and you're worshiping and you realize that you've offended somebody, you need to stop what you're doing and go handle that before you come back and worship the Lord properly. And that's hard, that's challenging. That takes humility, that takes grace. But like I said, this all goes back to a very simple principle. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also the interests of others. If you genuinely care about other people and the interests of other people, you will be cognizant about what you say and how you say it, so that the truth is no longer blocked by you, but rather you have created an avenue where you have removed all the personal blocks that you can, and now it's on the other person to receive truth that you're speaking to. Question of the day for you guys. Tell us a story about time maybe you failed a speech check in real life and you had to go back and apologize and make that right. Leave a comment down below and let us know why, because it's not to embarrass you, but your story of your correcting, which maybe you've done personally, it could encourage somebody else to take the boldness to do the same thing. I want to give a very special thank you to all our devoted Patreon geeks who help support us here at Geek Devotions. For as little as $1 a month, they have been helping us with everything, providing lights, providing equipment, all kinds of stuff, and even the stuff that we use, like some of the movies and the video games and stuff that we use to create these devotions. Thanks to them, we're able to do this, and we really appreciate that. If you'd like to become a devoted Patreon geek, visit our website, geekdevotions.com, and click on the support page where you can find out if you can become a devoted Patreon geek, or maybe you want to give a one-time gift through PayPal, or check our Amazon gift list that we have also. But even if you can't, maybe you can't financially help support us, that's totally cool, guys. We totally understand that. Best way you can help us, pray for us, honestly, and then share our content with other people. If this has encouraged you, challenged you, or maybe as you're watching this, you're like, man, I know this could help some people. Man, share it with them. Share this with them. And I'm going to challenge you in this. I don't say challenges. I'm going to encourage you in this. This is how Celeste and I genuinely feel about Geek Devotions. Take this content. If you're a leader, you're doing some stuff, you are more than welcome to take the idea that just came out of this today, this conversation about the skill tree. Present it with your youth group, with your small group, whatever it is. Don't even say Geek Devotions, because it's not about us. It really isn't. It's about people, the people that love and they're cared for. And if you can use what we gave you today, please go. Let somebody know they're loved and cared for and help them to grow in learning how to speak to others. That being said, if you do want to be connected to Geek Devotions, make sure you check out all of our social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Just look for Geek Devotions. We're also in Threads. We're playing with that. We'll see what happens with that. But follow us on social media, check out our Discord channel, be part of the community that we are establishing as devoted geeks. So until next time, stay devoted, peace and love.